Hey everybody, it's Magic Prepper, and I was just thinking about some preps that I haven't ever really needed or used, and whether or not they were worth the investment. But the problem is that these preps are preps that if you do need them, you absolutely need them. So I wanted to put together this short list to give you some ideas of things that you might want to consider in case you don't have any of these preps, and I want to hear your feedback in the comments below as to other preps that would make this list. Things that you don't really need until you really do. So the first thing on that list that I think is very indicative of being a prepper, but at the same time, something most people will never actually use, is a gas mask, right? So this is a Mira Safety C21, and it's a really nice gas mask. I have worn it and tried it out and everything else related to like making sure the stuff you buy actually works. And of course, there are links down in the description as well as in the pinned comment if you want to support the channel to get stuff like this. But regardless, a gas mask is something that if you need it, you absolutely need it. And generally, the average person never really needs one. And there's a good chance that into the future, I'll never wear this gas mask in a way that would save my life. However, if something happens where I need to wear it and I don't have it, then I probably won't make it. So a gas mask is a very good example of this type of prep, where you're probably not going to ever use it in the way that it was intended to be used. But man, if you don't have it and you need it, it's over. All right, the next prep on this list is a storm shelter or a bunker. I'm currently in my above ground storm shelter. But this is one of those preps where like we all want that nuclear fallout doomsday bunker, right? Buried under the ground, well stocked, and we can live in it forever. But it's definitely one of those things where if you need it, you absolutely need it, but generally you probably won't. And even where I live, where we do have tornadic activity, I have this storm shelter because we don't have a basement and it is a safe place for my family to go. But there's a high likelihood we'll never, ever actually use this for what it was intended for. But if we need it, and if a tornado is coming right at my house, we will definitely need this. And that is something that gives you a peace of mind, which is great in the sense of that investment, however expensive it is, but is something that you don't need until you absolutely do. And unfortunately, storm shelters, much like nuclear fallout bunkers, are in that category. So let's jump into the next prep. All right, so next on the list is going to be a Faraday bag. Now, this is a heavy-duty one from Off Grid Trek, and the whole point of a Faraday bag is that you store your electronic devices inside of it to protect them from an EMP or electromagnetic pulse. Now, the likelihood of that is relatively low, and until an EMP occurs, this bag that's relatively expensive doesn't do anything other than store stuff inside of it. Now, of course, if an EMP happens, suddenly this thing becomes extremely important. So listen, EMPs can happen. Man-made ones are created with nuclear weapons. We also have natural occurring phenomenons like CMEs or coronal mass ejections, which have the same effect. So the possibility is there, it's just very unlikely. And of course, this is expensive, but it does that one particular job that nothing else does. And if it needs to be used, you really need it. So what else is on the list? This one sounds really elementary, but a lot of people don't have these, and I find it to be a little bit surprising. So it's a good reminder for you, but it's also just the truth. And the truth is that I have fire extinguishers, although I've never needed to use one. Now, many of you probably have, but a fire extinguisher is definitely one of those things where you have it, you set it in your house or in your vehicle or wherever it might be, in a place that's strategic, location-wise, and then if a fire occurs and you need to put it out quickly, you have the fire extinguisher accessible. But if you don't have a fire, this doesn't do anything. So it is something that's good to have. It's very important. I think everyone should have at least one fire extinguisher, if not multiple like I do. But until you need it, it doesn't do anything. But when you need it, man, you really need it, because putting out a fire quickly is a huge difference in the sense of the success of saving your home or your vehicle or whatever else it might be, right? So fire extinguishers are on the list, mostly because I wanted to remind you all that you need to have them. And if you don't, you really need to just go get one right now. But at the same time, if you do have them already and you've never used it, then you're just like me, because you understand it's good to have. I've never touched it, but if I need it, nothing else really does the same job, right? So last on the list, and like I said, I want to hear your feedback in the comments below. Let me know if there's other things we should add to this list, or you have preps that specifically don't really do anything until that one moment where they do, because I'd love to hear about it and talk about it with you in the comments. But the last thing on this list is something that's very niche and requires one very specific scenario really to be useful. But it is something that if you don't have it, you can't use it, and that is a Geiger counter. Now, this one is from Better Geiger, and it's very basic. This is not something fancy. This is not super precise, but it does do the basic job of letting you know if something is radioactive, right? Now, a Geiger counter isn't really something I need in my daily life. It's not really something I need in general. I don't ever have a real use for it. But in that scenario where there is a nuclear war and there is radioactive fallout laid out all over the country and things are unsafe and we're not sure if we can emerge from our fallout shelters or whatever it may be, this is the one thing that will tell you whether or not the radioactive levels are safe for you to be around. And if you don't have one, how are you going to know it's safe for you to be outside, or if it's safe for you to drink from a water source, or if the materials you found and scavenged are safe to bring inside? Like, it doesn't really do anything until it does. And a Geiger counter is definitely on the list because I feel like every true prepper should have one, but we're probably never going to use it. And if we are using it, like, a lot of other stuff probably matters too, right? So I wanted to put this list together because, these are good conversations to have. This isn't anything, mind-blowing or like world-ending or anything like that. This is just some good reminders and to let you know that we all have the same mental issues when it comes to why we're doing this stuff, right? Why am I buying this really expensive bag? Because that one thing might happen. Is it useful until that thing happens? Not really. Why do I have a gas mask? Well, it is cool looking and it is fun to shoot in and do all this other kind of stuff with, but at the same time, like, the last time I had a chemical attack on me, it was just my cat trying to mark its territory. So there's a lot of things that we have to consider, some of them more important than others, and that's why we have these conversations. If you need anything else from me at all, go to magicprepper.com. And besides that, that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.